and figure out all that shit. It's more so just delivery, bro. When we're in this position right now, delivery is just so slow. Like days are just so choppy, and or it's like slow ways back up, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's just gets boring. Just gets boring is what it is. That's what Ronan's doing. What, taking 2 weeks off? Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that too. Honestly, not or just like a week though. I just need more price action to form. The 30-second, yeah. Let me just share my screen real quick before I get into anything. Let's go here. How much is a place like that? I want to move to Miami from Switzerland. Like the place that I'm staying in, the place I'm staying in is well, they gave it to us for 19K a month. Although I wouldn't really recommend living in the area I'm living. It's kind of far from Miami. Yo, guys, you guys are acting like I'm paying the 19K myself. Crazy work. I mean, I lived here with, it was me and my brother. I had a different roommate before, Braden, who was also paying it, and it was we were each paying like 7K a month. A little short of that. Well, I was paying 7.5 myself because I had the biggest room, but it was like on average 7 a person. Why not buy? I would never want to buy this crib. Yeah, that's definitely a plan to buy a crib. I just haven't been like, because I see like I don't want to just buy a crib just like as an investment opportunity. Like I want to buy a crib I actually really like and would live in. There was one house that I was checking out that I wanted to buy, but it was just a bit overpriced for the size. It was super cool. There was that one that I posted on TikTok that I visited with Blake. Just wasn't really that big. In terms of like, bro, it was the size of like it was 1,500 square feet pretty much. It was kind of fried for like 1.5 mil. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I want to build my own crib. I literally think about that all the time. LA has the sickest houses. All right, let me get into this. Share screen. Here, I'll do it like this for now. Let's see. This is my trade today. Yeah, it was a 1 minute. No, but you entered early. We'll talk about that. I personally do see it that way. Like if it's like, I'm not going to be referring to an hourly gap or 4-hour gap from, months ago. If it is like a monthly gap or a daily gap, that's a bit different. Like you're still trading. It's like a daily gap or a monthly gap, but definitely don't be referring to like periods from like 6+ months ago. You know what I mean? It's going to be really hard to just time frame align that. But yeah, so I'll pretty much go over it today really quick. I'm pretty sure we all thought the same thing today. Like it was a very obvious scenario building type of day in the sense of like, okay, we grab pre-market, right? And we look at the price action that we formed prior and we see, okay, well, for one, we have this intermediate low down here, right? That we can take free longs off of, or if price wants to go up, maybe we can take shorts off of this. But I think most of us were probably thinking, longs from here, or maybe continuation shorts down here. Was that what you guys were thinking? Were you guys either thinking, oh, continuation shorts down to the hourly intermediate low, or longs if we get it? Yeah, so I mean, most of you were just pretty firm on longs. Yeah, totally makes sense. So that's pretty much where my mind was at. I mean, I definitely wanted longs more than anything, right? But I was also willing to see if maybe I get continuation shorts. Obviously, that wasn't the case. So anyways, all right, we play price through, and we can see that we have that clear pre-market chop. This is what I always tell you guys to like look for, especially when we're taking those 930 setups. Granted, it is Monday, and I kind of had a feeling things would be like this. I was almost about to avoid today just because I'm like, still close to all-time highs, not a lot of volatility, and it's a Monday. Like, what are the chances a setup delivers? But I guess I didn't really have enough like data to make that assumption, and I kind of just said, fuck it, like I'll just go into the market because I had a really clear scenario for today. And so whatever, I identified the pre-market accumulation. I marked out this high, of course, because I know it's like a 50-minute intermediate high. So if I were to long, I definitely want to be TPing around up here. And then I made sure that I wasn't going to long or do anything and just sit on my hands until we hit this hourly intermediate low. This to me was like the perfect level to long from. If we hit that and we get a strong reaction and confirmation through inversion, then there's no reason I shouldn't expect price to just rip up, right? And so price eventually goes down to there. We get that tap. There's this 1 minute right here, which we could wait for. It's pretty tiny. And there's also 30 seconds right here. With the 30-second, it was kind of like, I wouldn't say it was like the most confirmation. I would have waited, if anything, for like this stronger close up in here, and then you get like that CIC plus IFEG confirmation. But realistically, just like a stronger 30-second close after all this accumulation would have been better. Although this was still a great setup nonetheless. It wasn't a bad one. I think there was so much conviction around just like this whole scenario. But price did end up pulling lower one more time, and just creating that a bit more of a stronger like breakout from this accumulation zone, right? And so we end up breaking lower. We get way cleaner structure. And then we have this 1 minute here, which I'm pretty sure every single one of us was looking for. I mean, this couldn't have been, if we would have just got this close right here, it couldn't have been better. It would have been just like the most beautiful thing ever. But of course, price decides to just rip up super aggressively and give us that very premium close. But nonetheless, I mean, the trade idea still remains, right? And we're not, like I said, don't focus on aesthetics, focus on facts. And although we would have loved to see that more discounted close, we're going to just play it as is. And you can also see ES had taken out this hourly intermediate low, and we were rejecting off of that. And ES was slowly creeping up towards, you know, these highs right here, which it had left equal highs. Not that I really use that as a concept, but pretty much everything was pointing towards the fact that we wanted to go higher, and this long was extremely valid. And we even ended up getting a close so strong that we ended up inversing this 1 minute too. And so the idea here obviously is, you know, take this trade 101, try to go for these highs right here. And naturally, like I'm sure you guys are all thinking the same thing. Why would we target that high right there? Well, that's that 15-minute intermediate high. So if we take that, we're most likely going to get some sort of rejection lower. Price starts scaling up, and eventually volatility starts dying out. What I did, which was kind of like a weird play, was after this move right here, I had this is what my trade idea looked like originally. And after this move, I was like, dude, if we don't rip up here, then I truly don't know when the fuck we're gonna rip up, and I want to get on with my day. And so I just kind of trailed my stop all the way up to here, and I was thinking we were just gonna rip up, but obviously, that ends up getting gooned on. So I took a small loss. I mean, 1/4 of the size that I originally had, and price just ends up chopping for a long time. I guess if I would have held, would I have been good? Yeah, maybe would have survived by like 2 ticks. But I did recognize, like, right, I just thought in my head, I'm like, this is a Monday. We're not getting a lot of delivery. This drawn liquidity seems so clear. There's no reason price should be stalling. And I kind of just said, well, after this move, I really thought we were just going to go up. And I was like, let me just, you know, take off some risk here. And whatever, not mad about it at all. It was a great setup. It is what it is. I mean, this chop after is insanely diabolical. I couldn't really believe that this was how aggressive the chop was going to be. But that's not something you can really predict. So yeah, obviously price ends up eventually meeting that first round liquidity, I think, and that was like, who even knows, 3 hours later, pretty much, I believe, is when we hit like this first level. And that's that. But I mean, 3 fucking hours, that's not happening for me. My average trade time is about 8 to 12 minutes. So this was just a bit out of my time range, I'd say. But yeah, so first setup, the first 30-second wasn't bad. It was good. Just I would have said wait for a bit more confirmation. And so it's always a bit tricky with those 30 seconds. And especially in these conditions, you don't want to just be like slinging, you know, fucking 15, 30 seconds and shit when you want good confirmation, like strong volatility confirmation. And this is like a prime example of strong volatility confirmation. And obviously, as you can see, once we did take out this hourly intermediate low and got confirmation through inversion, I mean, if we just play it off, you know, this low and shit, you can clearly see that this low never gets traded back towards, because that's just usually how it goes with those sweeps of those intermediate lows. And where does price go? Well, price goes to the next objective, which then ends up being that unfilled hourly gap, which kind of brings up that conversation where you guys always mention like, oh, protected lows, protected highs, whatever. It works like in that sense where, you know, something is protected until an objective has been met. You guys get what I'm saying here? So it's like when we get confirmation that price wants to reverse here, or we're taking a counter trend trade, and we get confirmation through inversion, we have good structure, whatever, and we're bouncing off, you know, that hourly intermediate low, we can expect that this stop loss will be protected until an objective has been met. And you can clearly see that's what ended up happening. So theoretically, this trade did play out 100%, like using like the fundamentals of, okay, well, I'm going to utilize the whole leg. I'm not going to fuck with a trade. I don't care how long it takes. Like if you really think about it in that sense, like trade did play out as far as drawn liquidity being correct and objectives being met and all that. It's just not like really the ideal conditions to be sitting through shit like this. And me personally, I was just like, I didn't really want to be in this trade after seeing how much it chopped. But I'm curious how you guys ended the day off. If you maybe ended up closing out of it, if whatever you did, I'm just kind of interested. I'm still in long 30-minute chart, but break even though, just aiming for that 101. Holy fuck. That's crazy. Yeah, this is getting recorded. Don't worry, Ryan. They're just not really like a determining factor to like if I'm going to take a trade or not. You know what I mean? Like if anything, it's like extra conviction, but it's not going to necessarily be like, oh, this is what's going to make the trade play out for me. Took the 30-second loss today. Is preserving capital always good after a loss? When I saw that 1 minute, I wanted to take it, but I saw the same trade idea just better with the resweep. I ended up fading because of my rules. Do you ever go for re-entries when you get stopped out, but you're so confident in your trade idea? So I was talking about this recently in one of those calls where I did say like, yeah, there's times where I will do that, but I've noticed that like if I probably grabbed every single day that I took 2 trades or I re-entered, I'd probably be like negative. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. There are some days where I'm able to make it back. Some days where maybe I even end up in profit, but I think most days like I kind of just add in like an unnecessary loss, or I double down on a loss, or maybe I get break even on the first trade and then the second one loses or something like that. So ultimately I do think that the 1 trade a day is always just going to come out on top, and I really try to stick with that as much as possible. So that's why it's just important that you make sure that whatever trade you take, it's like you think to yourself, okay, this is exactly what I wanted to see. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's a huge W, JJ, that you were able to just hold yourself back from just re-entering, and preserving capital is always going to go a longer way, honestly. Yo, Patty, is this an SMT or how should I treat it? How would you treat this? So you can see that as an SMT, depending on the level of confirmation I'm getting through NQ in this case. Then I wouldn't really care too much about the equal lows, but I will say for the most part, you still definitely want to be paying attention in case ES wants to go and take that low, because it's not a matter of like equal lows or not. It's just like, even if you have an SMT, but then you see like ES is like hanging out around here and it looks like it's like inching towards like that low, you should still use that as like reference, like, oh, maybe ES does want that low as well, because an SMT doesn't guarantee the fact that NQ has to reverse now, right? Or vice versa. It doesn't guarantee that the other asset doesn't have to take it. Sometimes they both take that level and then both distribute. So you kind of really just have to pay attention to like, okay, is this enough structure and enough confirmation for me to be like ignoring something like this, or should I still be paying attention to the fact that one of the assets is close to that drawn liquidity? So hopefully that makes sense. Does this answer your question? Yeah, that answers my question. Why don't you like equal highs, especially when they're far apart? That we consider equal highs a generation of liquidity. Yeah, when they're far apart, I mean for sure. It's I feel like something important to note, right? I mean, like I pay more attention to like, okay, if they're perfectly equal, cool, but like I do like to see shit like this, right? Where I notice here, we have a lot of highs like just bundled up together, and they're all failing to take each other. And this definitely creates strong liquidity because there's separate swings, just leaving behind liquidity in comparison to, you know, back-to-back highs or back-to-back lows, which to me is like whatever. But yeah, this is definitely huge. Leaving behind, I think it was, where did we do that equal highs thing? I'm just saying it's not a determining factor. Really, that's all I'm saying. Like I don't, just because I see equal highs doesn't mean I have to long now. If I get short confirmation and there's equal highs above me, I'll still fucking short it. But yeah, something like this is like a great indicator that if given confirmation through longs, that this should be a very, you know, high probability point where price will trade to, if that makes sense. Pre-fire for the 101, it looked like there was a 5-minute gap above to open, and once I saw the 5-minute gap, didn't get 4-minute enter longs and got a nice head. Trying to let me know if this was a bad idea. Huh. Wait, you entered here. Oh, I see what you're saying, kind of. Yeah, I mean, you did. I mean, at least you entered, bro, past, you know, like not on this candle, but at least you entered knowing that, okay, well, we're most likely going to inverse this. So this looks better to me. The take profit of the 101 is definitely interesting, though. You're definitely, like, I don't trade like this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't trade in the sense of, like, oh, I'm just going to go for 101 because it's 101 and that's my take profit. Like, everything I do kind of has a reasoning behind it. Like, oh, I'm taking profits here because this is where I would anticipate price would reverse from. But I also do respect this in these conditions. Honestly, it's, you know, I mean, it's hard for me to say that you did like a lot wrong or this trade's horrible. Like, I think, you know, what's going through your head is, oh, okay, well, I wanted to see this inverse. Now we're displacing very heavily. I'm just gonna enter right here. Fuck it. And aim for 101. You know, you kept it simple, which it works, but I do like to be a bit more like factual and, you know, really create like a story around my trade. Like, why is it that I'm TPing where I'm TPing? And the answer should always be like, oh, because this is where I would expect price to reverse from. Why is my stop loss where it is? Because I expect price to not go back to it until an objective has been met. Literally the same as you exactly. I've been taking the same trades as you almost perfectly for the past weeks. However, last week my fundeds got in the red. Yeah, I mean, it's just been a fucking, just been slow delivery, bro. It's really all you can like do. I mean, it's all there is to say. It's just been like, that's how it is all-time highs, bro. You can go and back test every single all-time high sessions. It's definitely probably better to just have lower frequency moving forward and prioritize like high quality stuff that you really like. And, you know, I don't know, bro. It's so fucking slow right now. It's draining how boring the markets have been. That's just how it is, dude. Like, those people who end up preserving capital throughout moments like these are the ones who come out on top. People who are like itching to trade and they think that trading, the more they trade means the more money they make, those are the ones who get punished. That's just how it is. 99% of the time, I'll just let the trade do its thing. Today I did trail my stop though, so kind of hypocritical there, but 99% of the time I'll just let it do its thing. I don't really care what the noise looks like or anything. You know, I don't care if it goes close to stop loss or whatever and this and that. Today was just like dreadfully slow. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just like in market conditions like this, dude, your best bet is just like being a bit more, you know, like preserve a bit more, dude. You'll feel way better about yourself. Fuck yeah, bro. This is the exact mindset you need. Like, it's just another day. You know, it's just another fucking day. Like, what can you really do about it? Move forward. And then once the good price action rolls around, once things are playing out, that's when you want to be in like a level-headed state to capitalize. Been in this trade since 9:55. Finally about to hit my break even. Jesus. How do you currently still detach from P&L, focus on performance? Hard to stay patient from the transition from profitable paper eval to funded. What helped you separate that? Bro, it's just like, there's no like magic. It's just discipline. Like discipline's always going to like override all the bullshit, you know? Even if I am attached to my P&L, even if I'm, you know, constantly looking at it, as long as I'm not acting on it, as I'm not making any like rational decisions based on like my emotion, as long as I'm not making like any like emotional decisions, then it doesn't matter because I'm just being disciplined about the fact, you know what I mean? My discipline is stronger than like, I guess what I feel that I want to do. If I'm attached to P&L and I'm like, oh, I want to close early in my head, or oh, I want to close this trade early, you know, because I'm getting close to stop loss and I want to save myself a bit of money, my discipline is going to override that and be like, well, that's not how things are supposed to be. You kind of just have to let it play out. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's all I tell myself. Like, I'm just like, just give the trade room to breathe. Like, who cares of what the fucking P&L is? You know what I mean? That's the only way you're going to get like a solid statistic. I didn't enter because internal high was taken before the 1 minute IFEG. Was that the right play? That's one way to look at it, but we kind of just ended up displacing above it, closing above it, and then even getting an inverse here. And so like this isn't the internal high for me in this case. Like the internal high for me is up here, right? Because this is the only level that I see next where we could reject off of. I don't see any reason why we would reject off this high, this high, this high, this high. Nothing until we get up to here, which obviously gets proven later on where we go up to there. And then we start seeing price reject, right? So, yeah. I'll see if I go through last week grind depending on how much we talk about now, but we're already going through a lot right now. We'll see. What are your thoughts on live options account while trading prop futures? Live option accounts while trading prop futures. Oh, options accounts. I don't know. I don't trade options, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have nearly enough experience to give any advice on options. I know I've definitely have some friends who are just like absolute fucking beasts trading futures and doing, you know, what I do. And then they also trade options for like a bit longer term shit or, you know, like stuff like that. But I really don't understand that world completely. So. And then you hopped on the live charts for the first time. Did you feel overconfident backtesting, got your expectations crushed? Did you notice a massive psych change? It's like entirely different, or should you feel the same once you hit that 70% win rate in backtesting? I think I always just kind of had like this super strong confidence, like honestly since the beginning. I always thought I had shit figured out, but naturally the fucking markets humbled me 1,000 times. But my confidence never really got shot that hard. It was more so like, because the trading aspect, like the strategy would continue to always prove to me that it worked, but only when I followed it. And then I would fuck around, I would do something stupid, I would over risk, or I'd some shit, you know, I would make some sort of psychological mistake. And that's when it was never a strategy thing to me. Like, oh, you know, did I lose confidence in the strategy? It's more so like I lost like confidence in myself. Like, am I really that fucking mentally weak where I can't, you know, stick to my rules for a month? That was like the only confidence shocks I would ever have, where I would just be like pissed at myself. Like, how the fuck did I make the same mistake I've made 10 times? You know what I'm saying? I saw that, Jamar. We kind of made that. I was just making that song as a troll though. But yeah, that was funny. I got 9 funded 50Ks and I'm risking 250 approximately per trade. Is it valid in your opinion? Also, would you say passing my first eval on first try and getting funded is good performance? Never blew anything for now. I mean, listen, like I say, everyone's statistic is built differently. it's very doubtful that you'll never blow an account. I know plenty of people who pass their first one and then, you know, eventually they lost one and whatever, and they lost a few more, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it happens. Like the sequence of which it happens doesn't matter. The point is, as long as you're doing what you have to and you're following your system, you're going to come out on top no matter what. So don't be discouraged if at some point in your journey you blow an account or some bullshit happens. That's part of the game. You know what I mean? That's the only way to learn in this skill is just by fucking up or just by dealing with shit. That's the only way to build your psych. But yeah, obviously that's great, dude. That's like, I can't say there's anything bad. I think you're fully capable of, you know, passing your accounts without blowing anything and maybe even getting a payout too. That'd be huge. But don't be like thinking it's the end of the world if something does go quote unquote like wrong. 2 minutes short at 9:44. A short? Why would we 9:44? My only like just why would we short this? I mean, this short just seems like the most diabolical shit I've ever seen. You hop on ES and we had just edged this high. ES is looking very bullish. You hop on NQ, we're not even bouncing off of anything, not a 5 minute on, not anything. We're just generating LR above. This is like asking to get stopped out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of that trade. Of course, bro. You should be journaling all the time. 100%. Yeah. So these market conditions pretty much, I'd say they happen twice a year. Yeah. I mean, dude, we always go back to all time highs. Like that's just the fucking, bro. That's just the economy we live in. We're always at fucking all time highs. Everything is always going great somehow. But yeah, dude, this shit happens all the time. It's kind of like a slow period. It's definitely more boring. You kind of just gotta be like more frugal with shit, dude. You gotta get in like the habit of preserving capital, and you know it is what it is. Like the longer you'll trade, the more you'll like understand this shit, dude. It's like this is so normal. How do you determine a day should be no trade day? Kind of just like really just see like is scenarios that you're building like very obvious? Is the structure very good to be trading in? I will say today didn't really seem like a no trade day, like especially with like the hourly intermediate low and the setups you were getting and everything. It seemed great, and you know maybe it took this trade getting kind of fucked or chopping for a bit for I think people to start realizing like, damn, today kind of stinks and whatever happened. But as long as you didn't like, if after this you didn't think to yourself like seeing this chop after this inversion, like if after this you didn't think to yourself like, okay, you know, markets are chopped today, there's no reason to be looking for something, then that's definitely something you need to work on, because after this you should 100% be thinking, okay, this session's pretty much cooked, so whatever happens with this trade, I'm just not really going to pay attention after, and I'm going to get my day going. But you'll also be able to tell most days just going into markets, because it'll be really choppy. There's not going to be like a lot of higher time frame gaps you can bounce off of, shit like that. And on days like that, it's just like the second you get that morning gut feeling of like, ooh, this doesn't really look that great, I don't really know what I want to look for, just don't even sit on the charts. Well, no, you're not just supposed to like focus on a highest time frame. Like that's very, there's not enough context in that, because if you just focus on highest time frame, we would all be going onto like the fucking yearly chart. You know what I'm saying? But for drawn liquidities and shit like that, listen, this is what I always say. Your 1 hour and 4 hours is going to serve as your foundation. So like, let's say we want to take longs, right? Are we bouncing off an hourly gap? Yes, we are. Okay, cool. So we can long from this hourly gap. But what am I going to target If given longs, if like I get confirmation, what am I going to target? The only drawn liquidity above that we can really see that's very clear is like this 15-minute intermediate high, like, or this 5-minute. You can see just a 5-minute too. We have like these strong 5-minute imbalances up here, 50-minute imbalances up here, and that should be like a pretty obvious drawn liquidity. Okay, if we're gonna take longs, where can I see price rejecting off of? Well, this 50-minute should do just fine. You know, if price trades up to there, that can definitely see rejection. So the 5 and 15 minutes always going to be really helpful for drawn liquidity. Your 1 hour, 4 hours is going to be really good for foundation of like the idea. Okay, if we're bouncing off a 1 hour bullish gap, then we can be longing. If we're bouncing off a 1 hour bearish gap, like right now, we can be shorting. And if we're going to be shorting, let's say from here, where would I want to look to take profits? Well, as far as price action goes, there's not really any 5 or 15-minute imbalances in this leg. So I'm expecting if price is going to sell off here, it probably just wants to sell all the way down towards like the next key level, which the next key level to me seems like maybe just this unfilled hourly gap, because I don't really see anywhere else it could reject. I don't see any 5 minutes it could reject off, any 50 minutes it can reject off, right? So to me, I'm just seeing like a price bouncing off this hourly bearish gap, also 15-minute intermediate high. Where can it reject off next? Probably not gonna, not until it hits like this hourly gap. So it could be an hourly gap, it could be a 5-minute or 15-minute. It's always going to change. You kind of have to think about it this way. If you're taking a counter trend trade, usually your first key level is going to be like an unfilled 5-minute gap, right? Let's say like you're longing off, you know, we just hit this hourly gap. We just hit this hourly gap and we're taking longs, right? Whatever. Since you're trading counter trend, it's very likely that your first key level is going to be a 5 or 15-minute gap. If you're trading continuations, on the other hand, it's more likely that what you're targeting is like an unfilled hourly gap, right? Like, okay, we see that price bounce off this hourly bullish gap, and then it continued trading higher, and then we bounce off this 5 or 15-minute condition, and now we're taking continuation longs from here. And what do we have above the target? Well, since these are continuations, we're trading internal to external rather than external to internal. So in this case, we'd probably be like looking to target some sort of like unfilled hourly gap or some shit because it's a continuation, right? Same way if we would have like shorted today, if we would have shorted down to like hourly intermediate low, which obviously we didn't because we weren't really bouncing off anything. But if we would have shorted down to there, then that would have been our TP, which is something in the hourly. But since we were looking for longs, counter trend longs, we're looking to take profits at an internal level, like 5 or 15-minute. So yeah, it's kind of how it works pretty much. I've been journaling a lot, have manifest some clarity. Grateful to be here. Fuck yeah, I love to hear it, Cody. I've been doing a ton of it too recently. Yeah, it's not wrong. When 10 a.m. does chop, 11 a.m. does deliver, but I'd just rather not like I'm not gonna try to look for that delivery in 11 a.m. It's very rare that I do that. I used to do that a lot last year, and most of my winning trades would be like at 11 a.m. during like choppy times like this. But honestly, bro, like to me, I prioritize my time and like my capital more than other things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but to me, being able to get off my session earlier and just go on with my day, even if I didn't find a trade and preserve capital, that's worth more than me staying on for an extra hour and a half to win like a $4,000, $5,000 trade. I will be posting this call. You do not need a stop hunt. Guys, what do you need to enter a good trade? Like, what's just like the key thing we always talk about? Key level structure. Yeah, you just need structure. Structure and displacement. That's right. Like, that's the most important thing you want to see just going into the charts. You just want to see structure. It's not that I want to see a stop hunt. If I already have good structure, I don't need to see a stop hunt. But you want to see those clear swing highs and swing lows, and those clear, like, you know, internal highs, internal lows you can break even at and shit like that, because that's what's going to give you strong delivery. That's what's going to give you clean delivery. So So that's just the main thing you want to be focusing on for sure. Damn, looking back at today. Yeah, we were so choppy, bro. Holy fuck. Nah, but I guess at 9, I guess like at here when we were all looking for a trade, it didn't look that bad. Then it just got horrendous. Christ. That's crazy. It's ass. Yeah, 30-second was pretty valid, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean it wasn't not valid, I'll say that. What was your strategy or payout cycle that you used when you were still in prop accounts? Like when did you take payouts, like buffer wise, etc.? I actually really need help for that. So I was very aggressive with funded, I will say. I was always risking like about 1%, even sometimes like 1.5%. But as far as like passing the accounts and stuff, I would just approach it normally, just like relatively aggressive risk, 1 to 2%, and I would be able to pass it like in, I don't know, 3-4 days, maybe sometimes like it would take me like a week. And then once I got onto like the actual funded stage, yeah, I mean, I would just kind of like, unlike most people where they play very cautiously in the beginning, I would just go straight into like a 1% trade or even like a 1.5% trade. Usually win those first 2 trades, or, you know, like out of like the first 3 or 4 trades I take, usually most of them are wins. And that helps me like set a buffer of around like 2K. And then anything above that, I would pay myself out. So yeah, I mean, I always wanted like a 2 to 3K buffer just because I was a bit more aggressive with the way I traded. And payout wise, I mean, I guess like it was dependent, bro. It was dependent on my performance. So, like there'd be times where I can like, if all the I never had the accounts all at the same time, so it was kind of like weird. Like I would get them all at like separate times. So like, you know, some accounts would be eligible, let's say on a Monday of the week, and then others on Wednesday, and then others on fucking Friday. And I would have like a month where I can kind of just consistently pay accounts out, you know, throughout the entire month. But then with the way I was trading too, with props, I would also have like a month where I'm spending most of my time passing accounts, and I don't really have like a lot of fundeds. So that's what I didn't really like. That's why I'd rather be like on live account, because I just, the whole passing the accounts and meeting like rules and shit kind of just annoyed me. And also the biggest thing that pissed me off was just like payout limits. I was always way above payout limits. Like, you know, most prop firms, like let's say they'll tell you like, oh, you can only pay yourself out like 1,500 or 2,000 or 3,000. And I usually had way more in the account that I wanted to pay out. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. But it's different for everyone. When you have like 20 accounts, payout limits and all that shit doesn't really matter though. Yeah, I mean, you have to understand, but like that is the thing too. You know what I mean? You have to understand that with prop firms. I mean, the way I always saw prop firms, it's like, bro, it's such a low risk, high reward system if like you do it right. So even if I were to like, let's say I traded like the last week on like props and I blew the counts, like it wouldn't be the end of the world. You know what I mean? It would just be like, okay, well, I just blew it. Like I just blew some accounts. Like it's not that fucking serious. It's nothing compared to what like the actual ROI could be on them once they're passed and they're paid out. So that's like always a risk I was willing to like accept. In my head, losing the counts was the least of it. You know what I mean? Because getting a payout would make up for who the fuck knows how many accounts. So yeah, I mean, you also never know when it's going to be a good week or bad week. That's the thing, bro. That's why it's like just important to stay consistent. If you're always like trying to adapt your risk to conditions and you're always changing shit around, you're never going to have a solid statistic. You're most likely going to be hovering around break even, and that's most people's problems. They're always changing their risk. They're always trying to like adapt to shit rather than just like sticking with something consistent. Yeah, I mean the internal high, internal low, I really just use the 5-minute chart pretty much. Like I just look for that next 5-minute key level. Like bro, if I'm taking a long here, right? Like this is long from Friday. This is the long on Friday that I got break even on. Let's say you're taking this long on Friday, 5-minute long. Where's your internal high? Your internal high is going to be up here because this is the next spot that price is going to reject off of, right? It's this high inside the 5-minute. So that's going to be my break even. And as you can see, price taps it, sweeps it by one fucking tick, and then break evens me because it doesn't like me. And then it goes up because price action hates me. Nah, I'm just joking. Just shit's slow right now. Let me try to find more examples of trades though, so you understand. Bro, I mean, looking back at these setups, like it's very specific shit recently. It's like a lot of LR generation during AM. And then it all just gets taken randomly. That's so weird. I mean, this one, that's not a good example. Well, if you look at a trade like this is why I say it's like important to focus on like the 5 minute. Or is there like an entry up there? Well, in this case, let's look at like a trade like this. Let's say you're shorting right here. Don't ask me why you're shorting from right here, but let's just say you're shorting from right here. And you're looking for the internal low. Most people would just be like, oh, this is an internal low. Like, sure, if you're pattern trading that you have an internal low, yes, but focus on where like the next potential level of rejection would be. And if you go on the 15-minute chart, you see that there's an unfilled 15-minute gap. So I would be more focused on something like this, of like going break even at this line down here, because that's an unfilled 15-minute gap. I'm not going to expect prices just going to reject off this low right here just because it's a fucking low. If that makes sense to you. But yeah, so you can see that once the price hits that 50-minute, that's when we get true rejection, and then you would get like break even if that's the case. Or else. Like here, when you let's say you're taking like a long from here, if you have like stacked highs above, right? Like the pattern way of thinking of internal high in this case would just be this high if you were taking longs. But the smarter way to go about it is once all these highs are taken up here, because up here is most likely that 5-minute where price would react off. Yeah, and as you can see, there's a 5-minute right there. So that's how you want to be thinking, just like where's the next level that price could reject off of. Obviously the internal low and internal high is always just going to be like these, like they're just going to be like the highs and lows of manipulation legs. But you want to be a bit more, you know, specific than that, because you're looking at potential areas of rejection. Do you have a favorite guitar? Yeah, I don't have it at this place though. Getting 10,000 steps in is probably the best thing I incorporate into my day, no cap. Yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, it sounds like you're doing everything right. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be a sacrifice to being locked in, bro. Like you're always, like you said, you're not really seeing your friends much. Like usually when you're locked in on shit, you're eliminating the social aspect of it. It's like I always tell people, right? You know, you guys know that car analogy where it's like you want fast, reliable, and cheap. And it's like you can't have all three in a car. If it's gonna be fast and reliable, it's not gonna be cheap. If it's gonna be, you know, fucking cheap and fast, it's not gonna be reliable. If it's gonna be reliable and cheap, it's not gonna be fast. You guys get what I'm saying? And so the same thing always applies to like us as people, in the sense of like you can have like social, health, and like wealth, pretty much. And almost one thing is always taking a hit to maximize the two other ones. So yeah, that's just how it kind of be. And risking 1% or more didn't stress you out because 1% you lose 4 trades. Your star opinion on this? Yeah, and it never stressed me out, bro. There's nothing to stress out about, in my opinion, over funded, because at the end of the day, it's kind of just like a game, and anyone who understands the game and is willing to play it, you know, correctly and just follow a system, you're always going to come out on top. So it doesn't matter if you blow 1 round of fundeds or 3 rounds of fundeds, because if you keep just applying what you know actually works, that moment that you do, you know, pass those accounts and get them all paid out, it's going to outweigh those few accounts that you blew by miles. So no, I didn't really like get stressed out when I would be risking 1% and shit like that. That was just the way I like to do it. some people like to take things a bit slower. That's totally fine too. Yeah. Also, another way to see it, it wasn't so much about speed for me. It was about like efficiency. Um, that was the biggest thing. Don't be hating, bro. Yeah, the 30 second was pretty solid. And it was definitely a good trade, honestly. Like there's only alternative would be like if you wanted to see like a higher close for more confirmation, and then obviously there ended up being the 1 minute right after. However, played out, like honestly, it just wasn't a bad idea at all. 30 second was solid. That's because if you keep just applying what you know actually works, that moment that pass those accounts and get them all paid out. It's a nice ass crib. I just copped a guitar. Any advice on learning? I kind of just learned by. I just wanted to learn like a song at first. Like when I started like 7 years ago, I just wanted to learn Riptide. And if you just like learn one fucking song, bro, you can do so much with 3 chords, and you kind of just progress from there. The hardest part about guitar is kind of just getting your hands comfortable on the strings. You know what I mean? Transitioning between chords, like it not hurting your hands, and then eventually you kind of just can expand from there. Piano's easier to learn, harder to master, I would say. Piano I understand really well just because I understand music theory, but piano's fun. Piano's fun. I just think guitar has a bit more. You can get a bit more groovy with it, which is fun. It's definitely easier too, in the sense of like you can just pick it up and play really any song, and it's very like easy for people to listen to. Piano's like just, you know. What up, Leo? You taking me to GT3RS? I'm in Florida for my birthday in like 3 weeks. Maybe if I'm still here, I'll probably be away though, honestly. I have a problem. I don't know what exactly, but I feel like I have the knowledge necessarily to get consistently W's. I still can't pass my first eval. I feel like it might be related to psych and lack of patience, but sometimes I just take dumb setups and it costs me to go back to the same place as I am. I'm trying to take as much as possible for my L's, but I'm kind of point where I don't exactly know what else I need. Any ideas what I can do? Yeah, I mean, yo, can anyone explain to like? It's just funny because I feel like sometimes when you guys ask me these problems about yourself, yo, can you guys shut the fuck up too? Yo, when you guys ask me like these questions, I feel like once I read them to you, like you should low-key think like, am I fucking stupid? Like I answered my own question. You go, I have a problem. I don't know what it is exactly. And then you proceed to say, I feel like it might be related to psych and lack of patience because sometimes I take dumb setups which cost me to go back to the same place. Maybe the problem is that you take dumb setups that cause you to go back to the same place. I don't know if I'm crazy though. Dude, honestly, I think I might just be a wizard, bro. I might just be a fucking wizard or some shit, but like I think it might just be that you take dumb setups. Crazy. No, but seriously. Yeah, it does start with like self-awareness, and like I said, discipline is going to override all that. So it doesn't matter how self-aware you are. Like the markets don't give a fuck if you're aware of the fact that you take dumb setups. You literally need to force yourself to never take fucking dumb setups, and that'll stop you from pushing yourself back, because that's the thing about trading, and that's the thing about these skills. You can trade perfectly for 4 fucking months, and all it takes is 1 day to delete all that progress. That is why trading is so fucking hard, because you have the control to literally take 1,000 steps backwards. So yeah, I mean, it's just how the game goes. Exactly, bro. There's no shortcuts. Backtesting mech model got 70% win rate plus 100 plus trades. Why can't I put that into the market today? Patience mentally. Yeah, bro, it's all those things. But you also have to think about how fast you can backtest 100 trades. And think about like when you're backtesting. Let's say you backtested 100 plus trades. And while you're backtesting those 100 plus trades, you have a week where you lose every single trade while you're backtesting. You're not going to question it. Why? Because you're backtesting and all you're thinking is, oh, I still have 100 more trades that I can take to make up for this. But in real life, when you're watching each candle go minute by fucking minute, all you can think about is when you lose, the time that you lost, and that how everything is fucked now. And then if you have one bad week, you think everything is fucked now and it can't be made up for. And that's totally not fucking true. You know what I mean? That's why I would always tell people like this moment of like enlightenment I really had at one point was just literally stop checking my P&L. I stopped checking where my accounts were every single day, and I would just trade for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then see if like they were all eligible for payouts and shit like that. And they almost always were, and it just felt like so good. I'm like, wow, I'm not attached to the accounts. I'm not attached to the P&L, and I'm being rewarded for it and shit like that. And I don't really care if I took a loss in the day because I'm not checking what the count is at now after one loss. I'm not checking what that count is at after 2 losses, 3 losses. I'm checking what the count is at after every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And usually, considering the fact that I have a fucking profitable model and I'm following it this time very well, I'm going to come out on top. So that's really how you have to be thinking about. It's so easy to just like look at one bad day or even 1 week or even these last 2 weeks like most of you guys are doing and think that everything is kind of just fucking cooked. But it's just 2 weeks. It's just 2 weeks. There's 50 more in a fucking year. You know what I mean? I didn't even see what Top Step's new downgrade was. What'd they do? I'm parched. Hard ass markets right now though, pissing me off. Slow markets. You'll definitely come across some even more fuck shit. I don't know if some of you were trading during a time where like Trump would tweet every single day and like a fucking 100-point candle could spawn in the middle of your trade, but those were fucking hard markets. That shit was driving me insane. Every single time I'd be in a fucking trade, I would literally be in like profit, about to hit TP, and then candle spawns in because he says some shit and I straight to stop loss. It was insane. I'm not on props right now. I'm trading on a live on Trade of 8. Yeah, bro, this last week and a half, it almost feels like I've lost 10,000 trades, but it's just the fact that I've lost like what, 2-3 trades, but it's been 2 weeks and things have been so slow and a lot of no trade days, so it just feels like a lot. What's your plan long term with trading? Probably just lower frequency. You know, just use it to like fund other shit in my life. I'm not like someone who's like dying to be making like $1 million of trading whatsoever. Let alone, I don't even know how long I'll be trading for. Like, but right now, since I have the time, since I'm fucking, I don't know, it's just like, it's just very integrated into my routine right now. I don't see like any signs of stopping. But shit, if I had like, well, I'm making some other businesses and shit. But if I end up fucking, you know, like exiting some company or some shit for like 20 M's at some point in my life or something, I'm probably not touching the charts again. How do you determine high resistance strong liquidity and a low resistance strong liquidity? I mean, low resistance is just like an accumulation of highs or lows that are failing to take each other, while high resistance, I mean, I don't really believe in like high resistance shit, but like, bro, it's the same way as this, right? We mark out a liquidity level inside a higher time frame key level. what's that going to be? This hourly intermediate low, right? So let's look at something like this, for example. Let's look at this hourly intermediate low. This low getting taken makes this low higher resistance now because we have just taken out a strong key level. Now, meaning shorting down to this low would be improbable because it is most likely protected now that we've been given confirmation. These highs above are low resistance and most likely gonna get ran through because there is a lot of failure swing highs above, a lot of stacked highs, making it easy for the market to just manipulate and run through all this. So what do we notice the market does? The market most likely, and this is proven here, fails to go back down to this quote unquote high resistance low because it has taken out a significant key level and easily runs through these low resistance highs. You get what I'm saying? Easily might be a stretch considering the fact that it took 3 fucking hours because the markets are absolutely chopped cheese, but you get the point. Yeah, well, I'm sure PA will get, you guys trust me, I'm sure PA will be fine within the next 2-3 weeks. We just need to see like a big sell-off or some bullshit. Would you ever go for 1 mil payout on Apex? I mean, I could definitely try if I was bored enough. 1 million though is insane. I don't know if a mil. I mean, like a mil would, that shit would take complete and total dedication for me and probably take 2 years, 3 years to get $1 million with just Apex. Oh, only chart on NQ. Don't even look at MNQ until it's the point of the time to enter, and only use it for like risk. That's pretty sick, Leo. I mean, yeah, if you want to, any information you want to send over through DMs, I'm happy to check it out. I do have a financial advisor who does like a lot of investing for me, like long-term stuff. But yeah, I'm always open to seeing other shit. So if you had an unfilled 1 hour gap and it got traded into and created a 1 hour internal low, does that 1 hour internal low become a higher resistance until it gets taken out? I mean, like that, the thing is these terms are way too loose because let's say you do hit like an hourly bullish gap and then you get strong confirmation through inversion, the price wants to go up, then you can assume that that low won't get traded back to until an objective has been met, you know, like hitting a 5 or 15 minute gap or 1 hour gap, some shit. The 0 to 100K payout series, was I never even started that one. I was just trying to do this Tradeify speed run payout, and then I realized that their accounts, you can't pay it out the next day, so it was cooked. I could do that, honestly. I was actually debating just trying some shit like that in the meantime while we're in this type of price action. You should do max. Yeah, you guys are low-key giving me ideas. I think I might just do that, honestly, for the next 2 weeks. See if I can chef up some crazy fucking video in the next 2 weeks. I'm posting the installing the exhaust on the GT3 today. Do a video designing your house in Minecraft and building it IRL. That's not a bad idea. No, I would have to, yeah, bring my phone, but there's a fucking nail in my tire now, bro. I need to go take it to get fixed. Lost solitaire. Bro, the profitable trading challenge was just so mentally draining, dude. You have no idea. I mean, I don't think you understand. Like, I could do it differently this time in a way that's not mentally draining, but I don't think you guys understand the level of, like, dedication I had towards Anthony, Sway, and Brian. Like, I would stay up till 2 a.m. teaching them everything that I knew about trading. Like, literally. I would have conversations with them all day about psych and all this shit. Stuff that you didn't even see on camera, bro. The video didn't cover near, like 1/5 of like all the like education aspect of it that we were doing, bro. So yeah, I mean, it's just different from like unprofitable to profitable in the positions they were. Like, I really had to fucking pour my heart out there. But if I grab some motherfuckers who already have a pretty solid foundation, like maybe it could be way easier. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Anthony fucking cooks, bro. Anthony makes a good amount of money with trading. Brian's gotten multiple payouts since. I don't know how he's doing still. Sway, I think Sway got like one payout. What do you mean who did it first, dude? You know I posted that series like a year ago. Just go watch like Marty music online if you want to learn guitar. Yeah, that's exactly how you should be seeing it, bro. That's exactly how you should be seeing it. All you're doing is setting yourself up to be in a position psychologically and technically where once the market presents great opportunities, you're going to capitalize so hard. But yeah, that's exactly how you should be seeing it. All right, fellas. Well, I'm going to wrap this call up here. We're about like an hour and 15 minutes in. Yeah, if you want the next call, we can do like some more psych oriented shit. I can kind of just talk a lot about psych. I'll see how this week goes. Hopefully things do pick up. But let me just see, bro. What is it? Like, where are we in the actual markets? Oh, fuck's sake. Dude, like this is the problem. We're just so overextended. We've literally just been ripping up for so long, and that's why we're starting to get like we're gonna start getting these choppy ass days. I'm gonna play it pretty cautiously moving forward. I really don't want to get caught up in bullshit like this. It's just gonna stress me out for no reason. So I recommend you guys do the same thing. Just try to focus on preserving capital. Once we see like a good leg down, bro. So this daily chart looks ridiculous. I can't even remember the last time I've seen something like this. Have I ever actually even seen something like this? Because that's insane. I don't even know if I've seen some shit like this, guys. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. But yeah, I mean, I'm more focused on the hourly, right? I kind of just want to see more structure getting created on the hourly. This is so crazy. Just have price, obviously continue delivering a bit lower. And once we're like in a range like this, then things will be definitely way easier. So hopefully that's the case. But yeah, recommend the same thing for you guys. Just focus on prioritizing capital preservation and shit. Don't be like forcing setups and hopefully things smoothen out. Last week I was eligible for 1200-ish payout, but decided not to since I feel like it would have left me with no buffer to make mistakes after. Now I'm on 3 trade losing streak and only am eligible for like $400 payout. What do you think I do? Well, if you haven't gotten a payout before, it's nice to just get that shit off your chest and just take out a payout. Doesn't matter in the sequence it happens. It might be $400 now, but then maybe next week you're eligible for 2K. So you know what I mean? However you want to see it as. But the point is, you did get to a point where you were able to request 1200 and you just didn't, meaning you can do it 1,000 more times. Yeah, and you will feel like that many times, Casper, throughout your journey until you really just choose discipline over everything else and things will piece together, but you have to be patient. All right. Have a blessed one, guys. I'm going to upload this call.